Hello and welcome to Pitt Street Research. Today I'm joined with Christopher Clark from Delta Drone, ASX DLT. Welcome, Chris.
Yeah, thank you, Mark. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. So maybe to kick off this interview, tell us about Delta Drone, a little bit of the history, because a lot of people won't know who Delta Drone is, and take us through what you are and what you're trying to achieve.
Yeah, so thanks, Mark. So Delta Drone, formerly Parazero, is today a tech services company focused on the drone industry. Our primarily sort of target industries is the mining and agriculture space, where we provide these enterprise level drone services. And essentially what we do is that we put pilots on site, and we're flying drones in a long range fashion, so generally beyond visual line of sight, and essentially flying and sort of data capturing these mines every single day. So generating very high frequency geospatial data at a high resolution on a daily basis.
Right. And what do your customers use the data for specifically?
Yeah, so our customers are really looking, number one, primarily from a survey and volumetrics point of view, but we're also solving big problems, looking at tailings dams, high walls. One of our biggest sort of customers and the growing space is in precision agriculture as well. So using drones to do pest detection, weed analysis as well, and essentially improving the yields of farms. So,
right. And so agriculture and mining, those would be the two key sort of verticals that you're addressing right now.
Yeah, so those are big primary industries that we've got a really great focus on, and some really big enterprise customers. So all our customers are large scale customers that give us a sort of annuity-based income. So we have long-term contracts, generally anywhere between 2 and 5 years. Right. So, for example, like Newmont in West Africa and Ghana has got operations, and we have a 5-year contract up there as well. So we really kind of focus on those customers. But saying that, we've had really great opportunities in oil and gas, and more recently in security and surveillance. It's really a growing sort of need. What we're seeing up in Africa is to use drone technology for even within the mining space to solve those problems for our customers.
Right. So there's a big history in Africa then, because I guess that's where the company started initially.
Yes.
Spread its wings, and now the jump to Australia with the listing here since last year, 2 years ago.
Yes, so you're right, Mark. So originally from South Africa, I started the business 10 years ago, what was then Delta Drone South Africa, and now Delta Drone International, listed in Australia. And the main move was really the similarity in the markets and the needs of the customer. And the reason for the Australian move is we're really taking these last 10 years worth of experience that we've picked up and learning the ability to operate drones in a long-range fashion. We're now bringing that experience into the Australian market. And what we're seeing is just by changing the business model a little bit, and we can really offer customers a great cost saving on their drone operations.
Right. So, yeah, we talked about it a little bit, but the strategy itself. Similarities in the market. So you're seeing a large unmet need in Australia.
That's right. So the market is very highly fragmented at the moment. No real large drone players. So we see a great opportunity for us to consolidate that. And we began that strategy with the acquisition of Vista last year, September. And we're seeing great turnaround in that in terms of our monthly revenues with that business. So again, just tweaking the business model and really applying our economies of scale. And all our learnings into the local business. So going forward, pretty much the same as last year, carrying on the acquisition path as well as the organic growth of those businesses.
Right. And you mentioned the revenue model a little bit. Can you talk a little bit about what the spread is between the longer term recurring revenue streams and the more sort of short term oriented ones?
Yeah, so we're majority of our revenues is on the contract basis, but we do have ad hoc project based revenue, especially with our current operations in Australia. And it's really about now convincing those customers to switch from this ad hoc basis into this cost-saving model of, if you give us a longer-term commitment, we'll give you a better price.
Right.
And we're really seeing that's it's really sort of landing well with customers.
Right. Okay. And not too long ago, you divested Parazero, which was the original entity that was listed on the ASX. Mm-hmm. Can you tell me a little bit about what's behind that and how that fits into the strategy?
Yeah, so really the focus for us is really on taking over the Australian market. So having a tech hardware arm of the business was really something that we wanted to divest out of and really focus on our core, which is now more in the tech services space and obviously in the mining industry. Saying that, though, we really do believe we got the best of both worlds. Not only do we get a bit of cash in the bank, but we're also still able to access all that technology as well. So,
Right.
and even get we even have an opportunity to buy into the Parazero business should they decide to relist it.
Right. Okay. So that sort of your signals where you want to go. Looking out, say 2-3 years, or maybe 5 years. Where are you headed? What's the sort of I wouldn't say the end game, but what's the sort of the longer term plan for the company?
Yeah, so we're really rated by Drone Industry Insights as one of the top 3 drone service providers globally. And I think it's only just building onto that, becoming the top drone service company in the world at a global scale. So it's really about building on our relationships and our partnerships and continuing on our current strategy and focusing on these particular niche markets. Where we're seeing the growth happening, which is primarily in these primary industries as well as government and especially key assets infrastructure inspections as well.
Right. And in terms of acquisitions, you spoke about it a little bit. What do you think you will need to acquire to sort of complement the skills base that you have?
Yeah, so it's a sort of a bit of a two-part opportunity for us. So one is not only on continuing our land grabbing approach, and being accessible to the customers in various parts of Australia, but also looking at the services and the software component of our data. So we're flying every single day, generating high amounts of high resolution data on a very high frequent basis. And it's about how do we just add insights on top of that data that we're already acquiring.
Right. Okay. Lastly, what's your main constraint right now, getting to where you want to be?
So it's quite interesting. So in our African market, we have it's more on the sales constraint. So it's about adding that software component, as I spoke about, onto our service offerings because of a very, very highly competitive market there. But strangely enough, actually in the Australian market, we don't have a sales constraint. We've got an operational capacity constraint. We can't expand fast enough to meet the demand. So it's what we're seeing is that in Africa, we're able to onboard new pilots in every 30 days, and we're currently experiencing sort of that every 60 days in Australia. So it's really just about those growing pains and building up that capacity locally to meet the demand.
Right. And the fact that Australia is opening up now for to the world in general, do you think that could sort of alleviate these types of constraints?
Yeah, I think it creates the opportunity not only for more competition, but definitely for access to the skills base as well. So we're really seeing the opportunity and really just being able to get to the customer and allowing us to sort of meet them at that enterprise level of their needs. And I think it's not just a labor component. It's all of these things together. It's the labor, the hardware, and the software, and making that scalable, for these complex mining environments.
Right. Okay. Chris, thank you very much.
Thank you, Mark. Thanks so much for having me.